What's up, guys? I got a controversial one today. I don't know if you guys have heard, but supposedly someone has discovered the site where Noah's Ark laid near Mount Ararat. The problem with this claim is that there's a gentleman by the name of Ron Wyatt and his wife that actually went to that site in the 70s because of someone else who had claimed that they found it and did a bunch of research already. Went in there and tested the soil, had soil samples and all that. But now there's new researchers that have come on the scene that are saying now that they are actually the ones who did the research and are confirming that this is in fact the site of Noah's Ark. So we're going to look at these videos and we're going to go ahead and I'll make a comment after that. So let me just go ahead and play real quick.
I'm sure you've seen all of these stories about people out in Turkey that are doing this new work, and they're claiming that maybe it will prove that this site is Noah's Ark. Well, the fact of the matter is that it was proven to be Noah's Ark a long time ago. And what they are wanting to do was the very first thing that Ron did back in 1979. In 1979, when he went back to the boat-shaped object, he saw the crack that exposed the insides of the ark. So he took samples from inside. Then he went outside of the site and took samples and brought them home and had them tested at Galbraith Labs in Knoxville, Tennessee. And what they proved was that there was a very big difference in the carbon content from inside the ship and outside of the shape.
We'll just stop it right there. Well, she has the receipts. It's very interesting to see that Ron Wyatt has already done research where he tested carbon from inside the ship and then outside the ship. If it's a natural structure, if a natural occurring structure from nature, there shouldn't be any change in that organic matter. So it should all be the same. So we're going to look at this video now of these new archaeologists who have claimed to have found it and just kind of what their claims are and what tests they've done. So let's go ahead and watch this.
Joining us now is the lead archaeological researcher of Noah's Ark scans, Andrew Joins, joining us live from Turkey. Andrew, great to have you on. First things first, how long have you and your group been looking for Noah's Ark?
Well, personally, I've been interested in the stories as a child. I first heard about it from Ron Wyatt, who came out to California when I was in middle school. I then came out to see this site that was discovered in 1959 by Captain Durupandar, and we started our research in 2019 on the site.
All right. What makes you think that what you have found is actually Noah's Ark and not some sort of, geological anomaly?
Well, first of all, it was noticed because of the ship's shape. And this is the only shape people saw out here in 1959 that got the world interested, because it's in the mountains of Ararat, just like Genesis 8:4 says in the Bible, where Noah's Ark landed. So we're in the right area. We have a shape of a ship. And then when you look at the size of it, it is exactly 300 Royal Egyptian cubits. That's what Moses wrote in the book of Genesis. And so, either that's a coincidence or we're looking at the right object. And then we started doing scans. And these are non-destructive geophysical scans that can peer below the soil like radar and ERT. And they're showing a pattern of structure that you would not expect in nature. And then just last year, we did soil testing on the site.
I'm going to stop right there just real quick, just so you know, just a little bit of background. Ron White actually did a scan. Now, I don't know exactly what type of scan, but he was able to see that there was actually metal pieces embedded in the wood in a row that would be, not naturally occurring. That would be like the beams that it would help, the metal pieces that held the beams together, things like that. So he did results. So I just wanted to mention that.
And we found out that it has almost 3 times as much organic matter inside the boat formation versus just right outside it.
Yeah, so you did the soil samples. You found potassium in the soil, which indicates that wood was there, right?
Yeah, that's the possibility. The biggest thing, though, is that because we have a higher organic matter, and if you look at the photos of the site, you will see that this is a ship-shaped sitting on a mountainside. And so if it's just part of the mountainside, you would expect to see the exact same chemical analysis from inside versus outside.
How
But we're
deep?
finding that inside is different.
How deep underground is this?
So some of the scans, for example, the radar, we're getting data down to about 30 feet, and it's showing subterranean structures and cavities. So there's a possibility that some of these rooms, or you can call it cages or whatever, they're not filled in yet with mud and material, but they're still open spaces.
You know,
I'm just going to stop it right there, but that is very interesting. Everything that this man is saying is really awesome. Now, I'm not trying to like point fingers and say that this man did this intentionally, that he didn't give Ron Wyatt the credit, but I know that that research is readily available on his website, and also he has tons of videos, him and his wife here. If you go to ronwyatt.com, their Facebook page, you're going to see all the videos on here of of the Noah's Ark. He's also discovered some cool things like Mount Sinai, where the Ten Commandments were given, the rock that Moses struck, where the water came out of the rock. So he's found some pretty cool sites. And his nickname, I guess people know him by, is the Christian Indiana Jones. But there is some I think that personally the reason why he's not given this credit is because of some of the way his viewpoints and his claims. So I just typed in real quick into ChatGPT. I just said here. Let's see. I said create 3 main bullet points of why people think Ron Wyatt isn't getting credit for the possible discovery of the site of Noah's Ark in Turkey. And this is what ChatGPT came up with: lack of formal scientific credentials. Critics often point out that Ron Wyatt was not a trained archaeologist or geologist, which leads mainstream scientists and institutions to dismiss his findings as unprofessional or unsubstantiated. So it's because he doesn't have any formal training. He didn't go to school for this. It was just something that he was interested in. And then the second one says controversial and religious motivated claims. Wyatt made several bold biblical archaeological claims. Example, Ark of the Covenant, Red Sea crossing site, which, just let me kind of give you a backstory on that. You can watch the videos on that on his page. He actually found the crossing of the Red Sea, and his proof was that he went underwater and he found coral shaped. There's once chariot wheels, but now they're covered with coral. So there's a lot of different things that he has found or claimed to have found that people are actually confirming today. So I think that's interesting that they use that as a reason why people don't believe. And then of course I think this is the main reason why he's not recognized, is because he says that he found the Ark of the Covenant. Now, he's never given physical proof. He has a video of him searching for it, him and his son, but he doesn't actually show the Ark of the Covenant. In his reasoning, before he died, he said the reason why was because God didn't want anybody to find it, and God wasn't going to let anybody else find it. It was just for his eyes only. The reason being is because the top of the Ark of the Covenant was the mercy seat, and that mercy seat is what is being saved for Jesus, so that he can reign when he comes back for his millennial reign. He's going to sit on that mercy seat to reign. So that's his claim. I don't know whether or not that's true, and I guess I won't know until Jesus comes back or we get raptured. And so the last one says limited peer review evidence and institutional support. So his discoveries were not validated through peer-reviewed research or widely supported by recognized archaeological bodies, which made it easy for the academy and scientific community to overlook or reject his claims. So it goes right back to his training. Now, do you need training to find something like this? I think he's had enough training to understand, and I think he had a lot of good people around him to be able to confirm some of these things and to send it off to testing. He knew that much, so it seemed like he knew enough to understand what he needed to get his claims approved by the scientific community. But again, it goes back to his religious views and how radical they were. So that's what I believe. But either way it goes, I think it's really cool that we get to see today that there is archaeological evidence that the Bible is true, that Noah's Ark actually existed near Mount Ararat, right where the Bible said, that all of his other different findings or archaeological evidence. There's so much to confirm that, and I just think it's so cool. And I think we're going to just keep finding more and more of this right before Jesus returns. And so if you like this video and you want to see more content like this, go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a video. I'm going to be doing a lot of different review videos. I'm going to be doing some Bible study review videos and just more testimonial what Jesus has done in my life. So I hope you guys got something out of this. God bless you guys, and I will talk to you next time. Peace.